Hey everyone, and welcome to my thoughts on the 2022 NCAA softball regionals. They start today at noon Eastern, and they continue all day with 2 games at each of the 16 host sites, which are basically top 16 seeds. And then, tomorrow on Saturday, there's gonna be games all day, but there's gonna be 48 games to 32. There's gonna be 3 games at each site, which is essentially the games that they're gonna have today or tomorrow are gonna be the losers bracket game and then the elimination bracket game. The first one between the first round losers in the bracket. Then they're gonna have the second round, the winners bracket championship game. And then they're gonna have like the losers bracket championship. Which the winners bracket championship is just the 2 teams that went 1-0, won the first game. The losers bracket championship is just basically the teams that won one and lost one. And then then Sunday is gonna pit the winners, the team that went 2-0 against the team that went 2-1. And then if the team that went 2-0, then on the team that goes 2-0, all they have to do is win 1 out of 2, and they move on to the championship. So, and if you're new to the tournament, they basically just have 64 teams divided into 16 regions, and basically the NCAA softball committee picks the 16 best teams they think are 16 best teams. They pair them up with 4 other teams based on seeds, like 2 seed, 3 seed, 4 seed. A lot of the good teams that get snubbed are like 2 seeds, but they're like 3 and 4s are pretty good too. Their records don't show it as well. Like tough 3s. And then there's 32 auto qualifiers. If you win the conference tournament, you don't need to make it in, because then your tournament would just be like a bunch of teams that are from power conferences, and that's kind of unfair. Every year, you play and then you don't have nothing to work for. Like really, but anyways, I'm gonna share with you my thoughts on day 1 of the region and the whole region actually. So, you can start with Oklahoma. Even though I'm a Gophers fan, I don't think they're gonna make it out of the regional. I honestly think Oklahoma's gonna make it out of their regional pretty easily. I mean, they should run rule the first game. Maybe they can run rule the second game. I don't know if they'll run rule like maybe Texas A&M, maybe Minnesota. They might though. Which, if they do, I wouldn't be surprised if they get hot and run rule. They can just be dominant. Maybe they can get pushed. They've gotten pushed to them in game 7s before. But one regional is a lot of times I've seen lately. So we'll see though. If they get pushed to game 7. But yeah. And then, there's not a lot of surprising brackets, but there are a few that got surprising, like Florida. Florida got a cakewalk bracket. They played Wisconsin, Georgia, and Kansas. That should be a cakewalk of a bracket for them, considering they're the 14 seed. The 15 seed, Missouri, got pretty easy to bracket. I mean, they play Illinois. The Big Ten is tough, yes, but they are still like pretty not the great. Their win records not really the greatest. And then then you got Arizona. Arizona is better than I would say a little bit better than Illinois. I don't know Illinois, but 19. But I don't know. It's like, yeah. And then you got a few surprising brackets. You got Washington and Texas in the same region, which should be interesting. I think it will be. Because you got Washington, because Texas really needs it. You could tell Texas got snubbed because in this bracketing, because you can tell because Texas, like, you've seen them in their team, they were like just want to use it as motivation and prove that they could win the regional. And I think they can win the regional. I do think they can win it. You know, but we'll see though. I have them in my little bracket prediction doing stuff like them to actually win the regional. But we'll see. No, we'll see. If it does, it might not come down to a game 6, so I might have to go to game 7 to win or take out game 7. So we'll see. And then there's also Florida State. Florida State is a tough bracket. As well, they have, I believe, Mississippi State and South Florida in theirs, which is a pretty tough bracket. I think Florida State can squeeze it out. I think Florida State's probably going to have to go to winner take all game 7 in the regional. They're going to have to go to game 7 in regional. Just because of the fact that, South Florida is really good. Mississippi State, I mean, the record doesn't show it wise, but they're still pretty deep. They're still pretty good, So I'm one of those teams. Unless, South Florida and Mississippi State play each other. And they use up all their, energy. Those two battle out, in 2 and 3. So maybe they might get a little bit easier of a time. But otherwise, we'll see though. We'll see. I could see that happening though. They use all their energy and then kind of defeated, But we'll see. And then, there's another tough region. The UCLA region. They have to play. That is a pretty. What UCLA? I'm talking about UCLA region. I'm talking about Arizona State region. That's right, the Arizona State region. My bad. Arizona State actually has to play LSU and San Diego State in the region, which is gonna be tough. They got San Diego State, a really good mid-major school out of the Mountain West, and they have LSU, a team that was in the top 25 for a lot of the year, and it's really, really good, dominant team. If they're doing everything right, LSU gonna be a dangerous team, and sneak out from under Arizona State. Maybe San Diego State could squeak out to an upset or something. And a big upset. But we'll see. And then Clemson. Clemson by far has the toughest job of any team in the bracket, especially as a 10 seed. They have Louisiana and Auburn. And now Louisiana is pretty good mid-major school. And so is Auburn. Auburn's a really good SEC team. And I don't have Clemson actually winning any game in the sub region. Or, I shouldn't scratch that. One game I have them losing to. I have them beating UNCW. And then I have Clemson actually losing in the elimination bracket to winner of Louisiana Auburn. Then they have to lose. Then they play that game, lose, and then they lose against the other team in that game, because the other team should obviously easily beat UNCW. So they're losing to both Louisiana and Auburn on the same day. So So yeah, so next time, take care.